a skirt yoke, and you're allowed to do whatever shape skirt yoke you want. I don't care. As long it doesn't go beyond the low hip. This is your low hip, okay? I feel a little Western, just a little. So I'm gonna do, usually you start from the back, like from here, and you bring it over. You see that? Just easier. Just be mindful. If your piece of muslin, if your yoke is bigger than that piece of muslin that I put there on the board, just make sure like your piece of muslin matches at least the length of your yoke for the center front. Okay? I need you to do center front and center back. Believe it or not, it's not that bad. I only need to show you the front now. The back is the same thing. Same thing. Nothing changes really. The only thing you need to make sure is what we've been practicing now is everyone has done a really good job with the drape of matching the front and the back, correct? Now we know. We drew it before we do the back, correct? And that helps us make sure that all our points are good. Okay, she's gonna be a little Western today, because I want it to be. You can do double peaks, you can do straight, you can do low, I don't care. You decide. I want this one, I know this is a test, but it's just more like also trying to see how much to have fun. We're getting to the point with draping now that you guys should understand a little bit more than just the basic bodice. I think everyone has. I've seen you guys are so proud of you. So you guys have come a long way from the first class, right? So we're gonna pin it. So make sure this tape doesn't move on you. So I'm just gonna pin it lightly because of time constraints, but please, you know, do what you need to do, because I think the other thing that I've noticed with everyone is that people forget is the top of the tape or bottom of the tape. Be consistent. If this is, today you decide bottom of the tape or top of the tape, right? So if it's top of the tape, always be top of the tape, especially. So I'm gonna take one of my pressed muslins. Always make sure your muslin is pressed. And we're just gonna do 1 inch. The 1 inch in such a short muslin, and it's not going, this is not passing low hip. So we're fine. We don't need to make anything else. That's all we do. And you're gonna see it. We're gonna do the same way. We leave ourselves like a little bit 2 inches on the top. We pin it along the center front always. Okay. And this is gonna be very simple because you see how much gathering I have here? Like you see how much it's not pulling? But here, it's not that bad, right? But also, we have learned to pull, but not move the center front line now. I mean, that's one of the hardest things to learn because it feels like you want to pull it, but then you realize, oh, I can put it back the same way that I did it. That's the thing. It's a hard lesson to learn. I think everyone learned it already. So, this is what you do. Same thing. Remember how there should be no darts. So a yoke should have no darts. It's just a continuous piece. There could be a yoke in the shoulder, it could be a yoke in the skirt, it could be a yoke in the sleeve. No darts. You're supposed to have no darts at all. So the good news is that we're gonna just slash. So we're gonna try to smooth as much as possible. Already you can see I'm almost there, right? And how do we smooth it even more? We slash it, right? So now, just as long as this is in, and that's the fun part about this, I think. This is one of my favorite things to do. This is when you have more fun. So you slash, and you keep slashing, and you still move the fabric, you slash and you move. And you're basically there already. I usually put my pins where I'm gonna be marking, just to I don't have to think about anything else. But you can see I already draped it. It's draped. It's done. That's all you need to do. So then we're gonna mark it. Just remember, slash, don't be afraid to slash as long as you don't go past the seam or the line or the waist seam. So you slash, and this is gonna have a very severe curve. So make sure to really mark your sizing correctly. And this is the fun part, I think, is you can guys do whatever you want to do with the yoke. You can do double peaks. I've seen even more Western, like get some Ralph Lauren in you. I don't know. Okay. Has anyone seen his latest collection? It was like it had very string yokes, like really elaborate. Like I was thinking to just take it out. And does anyone have a French curve? Don't have a good one. So then what we're gonna do, before we drape the skirt, we're gonna true this one first, because we wanna make sure our skirt and our yoke are matching. And that's the thing. You're gonna see right now, you're gonna be slashing and spreading the fabric, but with fabric. So thank you so much. You know how you slash and spread in pattern making paper? And it's just all flat. This one is, you can see it while you do it, how it's gonna be in the fabric because you are draping it. So we're gonna do 1/4 inch. And this one's coming a peak, so we're fine. This is how it goes. We're just gonna true it. I'm using a French curve because you see how curvy that is? This is more curved than most. I think I have this other one. Okay, so remember, always and dance. Perfect. And as the rule of thumb is always 1/2 inch on all your style lines, except for side seam and shoulder. And this will have a subtle curve on the side because this is very fitted. Thank you, Johnny. And then this might have, so since it's a body, this might have like in and out curves. So there you go. Actually, I don't like that one. I think I like this one better. There you go. That's better. And then we're gonna add the 1/2 inch. Just remember, so we don't have to do, if you guys want to do a symmetrical, go for it. I'm not gonna stop you. But you will have to, if you're doing a symmetrical yoke, like all the way down, you have to do the whole thing. You can't do half. You have to do the whole yoke. Okay? It's up to you how much you want to play with today. I know everyone's like, test. But I need it to get done. And then we're just gonna add it. Perfect. And we're gonna cut it, and this is where the fun part starts. Oh crap, I didn't do anything. Perfections. By the way, the same way that I'm doing this is the same way you do the back. There's not that much difference. That's why I'm not even gonna demo the back. You guys should be able to do it. If not, if enough people say no, then I might just demo it. But just because there's a lot of things going on today that I need to check your all of your patterns and making sure that everything's up to date, that's why I'm not doing it. Okay, so now we have our yoke, and we're gonna put it back in. and ta-da. That was easy and painless. This one is pretty painless because remember, the smaller the size, the piece of that you're draping, the easier it is, the more straightforward it is, the less painful. But now we're gonna drape the skirt. I'm not saying that's painful, I'm just saying what I'm saying is we're gonna be, it's a lot more fabric and you have to be more careful with that. Okay, perfect. And now we pin it, and we pin it securely because we're gonna be draping on top of this. All right, that's done. So now, based on what we have listed on the board, I think it said 38 by 38. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right? Yeah. Up to you. You can go, it needs to be a square though. You guys can go shorter if you want. For example, it could be a mini, but I just put some type of parameters for you to look at what I'm looking for, okay? So we're gonna take this square, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna start always with a 1 inch from the edge to the center front, right? Make sure you block your muslin, don't be like me. I just need to make the lesson happen. And then, going back to tell you, if the low hip is right here, we need to make sure we put a line to help us line the muslin with the low hip. So right now, we need to figure it out, right? So this is what we've been doing lately. We've been figuring it out. We need, I will say, give yourself about, from this seam at least, give yourself about 7 to 8 inches because you're gonna be slash and spread. And it will make sense once I do it. Okay, so let's just go here, and I think it's about 11 inches if I'm not mistaken. I think that's 11. No, that's 9. All right, so then we're gonna go straight down, horizontally, all the way down. And I want you to do that because that's actually one way to see how bias. So we're making our center front length, and by the time that it finishes in the side seam, it's gonna be a bias. And that's how we get the flowiness. All right, so we're gonna line this up. Rule of thumb, never slash so close to the center front. And I say this because no one wants to look much bigger at your center front. The fullness should be more like evened out, closer to your princess seam, and almost to nothing in the side seam. Because you're not creating bulk, you're just making it look prettier. That's all, okay? So then what we're gonna do, we're gonna pin it. And I'm like, why do we have so much fabric? You'll see. We're gonna be slashing into the yoke, and we're gonna make this a cute little circular moment. And that's why I was saying, if you guys, it's up to you how much what you want to make of it. Make sure it's really pinned though, because it does, like, it tends to move a lot on you. And with the more often you do this, the more you'll figure out where to slash it. All right, so right now we're going flat. Everyone sees it matches my hip line, right? That just helps me, so I'm in balance. This is where it gets fun. I like to put a pin first to just show me where it will fold. I want it to fold here, right? So what I will do is that, also remember, not too close, at least an inch away from center front, at least. Usually it's 2 inches, but if you're gonna do it, don't be so dramatic with it, like a tiny one. And you see that? You see how it's going down already? And then I'm going to the next one, and I can see, I don't have to put a pin next again, but I think I want it here. And I slash to where I want it to fold. And that's when I spread it all the way down the fabric, and I pin it. Same thing here. I could go a little bit more, but not too dramatic, because we're really close to the sizing. And I pin it. About an inch away from the sizing at least. And you see now how different that line looks? This is circular skirt, okay? Now what we're gonna do is, I'm putting, you notice how I controlled it. So the more you slash and the more you pull, the more dramatic this is. You see my first one's a tiny baby one, right? I didn't slash all the way out. I didn't spread it all the way out. So try to control your fabric in that sense. The more you slash and spread, the more dramatic it's going to be. It's up to you how dramatic you want to be. But I need to see the cones. These are called cones. I need to see at least 1 or 2 cones so you guys understand what I'm trying to say, okay? So now what we're gonna do is, we're just gonna mark it. And the good news is that it's pretty straightforward again. Since we have already our muslin, we're just gonna follow our muslin. So, shrink. And you're gonna see it when I put it in the flat, it looks very interesting because it's gonna look very curved. And what I'm just gonna do is you don't have to, remember your sizing is always gonna be straight, so just mark it where it ends. This way we know where to put a ruler. And remember how I said you can kind of redo the hems at the bottom? You can also use the cage to guide you. So you can just mark the cage if you want to, where you want to. Just to guide you. And you can start from there. Then you take it out. And we're gonna trim it again. We're gonna go here. You see how dramatic this looks? It's a full circular skirt, right? You see it? Okay. So with this type of pattern, you do need to follow most of the little dots because it's contouring and it's flaring and it's doing all of that. So what we're gonna, but remember, we always do our best. Try to follow, just remember, try to make it as neat as possible. That's the other thing. Jagged lines get confusing when you're trying to do patterns. So try to clean it up a little bit. And you'll know what I mean. And this is, like I said, you can make it really short. You can make it, you can do whatever you want with this one. I just need you to see, I just need to see that you guys understood how to make a cone. And believe it or not, this is how, you can do the same thing with slash and spread with pattern making. The only difference that slash and spread doesn't give you the same fullness. It gives you some fullness, but it doesn't give you the same dramatic fullness. So that's why draping is much better to see the real fullness of the fabric and how it folds. So then, remember how I said like the sizing is always straight, so we just connect the sizing to the sizing because this is not a fitted skirt. And then we did mark it with the cage. So first I can just try to hand draw it a little bit to see where it ends, right? Yeah. Because you can connect as much as possible, lightly. And then you'll cut it. Now, you might put it on the dress for maybe some sides are looking longer than the others. That's when you do the other ruler again from the bottom and mark it again to make it look like it has a really even hem. this is just trying to clean as much as possible for now. It is not necessarily something, and you can actually feel like this will be better, yeah. Actually, let's just cut it. It's okay. Let's just cut this first, because some people, what they do also is like they cut a perfecto. Remember, since it's so curvy, you can always add a little slash. You can always slash it on the very curved side of things. And then for now, I don't need you to show me like how you're gonna finish the hem. I just need you to show me that you're able. And I'm trying my best just to round it the best as possible right now. But eye is fine. It's always better to go longer than shorter for hems. Okay? And we're gonna pin it. Oh, and same thing, guys. This goes on top of, so the seam allowance should always face down. Okay? Why? Because any seam allowance going up, it gets really bulky. And also, like, when you're pressing your skirt down, have you noticed that seam allowance are always facing down? That's why. That's the reason. First, always do the center front, center back. Center front sizing, and then you do the rest. Because remember, this is a very curvy. I decided to do a very curvy style line. And you're gonna pin it. Okay, this is doing it fast. Sometimes it takes a bit to appear, other years, but it's there. But different for other year, because I didn't pin this, that's why. But it's there, I know it's there. So you might want to pin it, but I'm doing it faster. So you see that? Okay. The back is the same thing. You just use your star line. We're not getting fitted. It's a very straightforward thing. You match, remember, you true the front before you do the back. And then you match the back and the front and the hem. Same thing. Okay? But this is fun. Okay. That's it. That's all you have to do. Back and front before the end of the class, okay?